The Backrooms trailer just dropped, and I want to talk about it. In case you guys aren't familiar with what the Backrooms are, it's essentially a space and time that you slip into, and then you're constantly navigating all of these weird empty corridors and all these big empty open rooms and trying to get out. And it's a place that everybody says that they've supposedly felt. It started back in like 10 years ago when people started talking about it on social media, and now it's become this whole big idea. In fact, it's gotten so big that we're getting a movie about it. I'm your host, Seb, and if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and comment down below what backroom level you hope to see in the movie. But let's go ahead and talk about this. So the movie production company is going to be A24, and in case you guys aren't familiar with who A24 is, some of their big blockbuster hits include Everything Everywhere All at Once, Midsummer, Hereditary, and The Whale. So a pretty big catalog to go along. And on top of that, for this movie, they ended up getting Kane Parsons, which, if you guys don't know him by his real name, you might know him as Kane Pixels on YouTube, and he's popular for doing some of the analog horror series on YouTube. And one of his best works was the Other Place, and it had the Rolling Giant in it. Or no, sorry, The Oldest View is what it was called. The Oldest View, and it had the Rolling Giant in it, in case you guys saw any clips about it. And I ended up watching the whole series, and I thought it was really well done and really well illustrated. And honestly, it gave me that sense of horror that he was looking for. And so I'm really excited to see that he ended up being the director for this movie. But the thing that sucks is that the trailer actually looked pretty weak. And for a film as stacked as this with just the production and the director, I was hoping for a little bit more. In the trailer, it was only about 60 seconds of footage, or more like 40 seconds of real footage and 20 seconds of just credits or whatever. And all it shows is a camera spanning from floor to floor, showing the main back room in it and how it keeps changing. And over in the background, you can hear people talking about like the back rooms itself. And they're describing it as saying like it's a place where it remembers things, and the more it tries to remember, the more it forgets. And as it's saying that the room constantly keeps changing and there's less and less stuff in it, until it ends up opening to like a tunnel. And then that's the end of the trailer. So they didn't end up actually giving us a lot of content from this, if you guys can't tell. And I want to go ahead and give predictions as to what I think the movie's going to be about and why I'm still kind of hopeful for it, because Kane Pixels, he's such a good director. And what he did with The Oldest View, I mean, it turned me into a fan, and a lot of people turned into fans too, judging by how popular the series was. So the first prediction that I'm actually going to make is revolving around the type of horror that is going to be. Because if you guys know anything about me, is that I love a good horror movie. In fact, I'm super excited for Scream to come out this weekend, because I'm a huge fan of the franchise, and I'm going to go see it in theaters with my friend and then do like a quick movie reaction about it. And so that'll be new for this channel. Sorry, side tangent. But anyways, I'm really wondering if they're going to go for the psychological horror aspect of it, or if it's going to be more of like a murder horror with somebody chasing them or something chasing them. And the way I could see it playing out is probably like a little bit of both, just because in Kane Pixel's Oldest View, a lot of it was psychological horror based. It was almost kind of like a backroomish type of thing, where somebody ends up going down and finding this tunnel, and at the bottom of it there's an abandoned mall that he gets taken to, and I think it's supposed to be back in time. But eventually he ends up stumbling into the Rolling Giant, which ends up being something that he has to run away from. And so I wonder if they're going to take any hints of this, since it is, his show and he's directing it now. And I wonder if he's going to include elements of that, or maybe somebody finds the entrance to the back rooms and they go to explore it, but the longer that they're in there, the more they start to like lose it. And then eventually maybe they run into a monster that is a subplot of it, not the main horror aspect, but maybe just a subplot. And then they end up having to run away from it. I think it would be really interesting to see, especially on the big screen, because now he's got a bigger budget. But I hope that if he does follow this, it's not an exact rinse and repeat of The Oldest View, because I do want to see something new. And while I did like it for that footage on the YouTube show, I want to see something different for the big screen. I want to see him experiment with something new and not be afraid of trying something out. And then the next prediction that I want to talk about is actually how they discover the Backrooms. Because if you guys are familiar with the Backrooms lore at all, then you know that it's not really a place that you find on purpose. It's more like you stumble into it. Because people talk about going to old malls or these old abandoned warehouses, shops, stores, etc. And that they get that weird eerie feeling whenever they get to like a certain part of it where it's not a very trafficked area. It's kind of like in the back of the store, the back room of the store. And that's when they start to feel like, this eerie sense of, oh, I've been here before, but it's not familiar. I don't remember it, but it feels familiar. And that's how they say you slip into the back rooms. And so I wonder if they're going to play on that, where people end up, or like normal people like you or me, maybe they're working at a desk job or something, and they end up slipping into it. Or if it's going to be similar to the oldest view, where they end up finding a tunnel or a door or some sort of entrance, and they go through it, and that's how you get into the back rooms. Judging by how the trailer made it sound like, I feel that there's gonna be an entrance some sort of way, like they're gonna be able to enter and exit, but as long as they don't go too far deep into it, it'll be something that they can continuously repeat, because the guy talks about the rooms as if he's been in there before. And so at the very least, the guy who's talking in the trailer is going to be someone that has entered and left. And while that might be common or uncommon or whatever it is to the plot, we know that at least one person has found an exit, or at least that's how he talks about it. And so I'm pretty excited to see what they end up doing there. If it's my prediction, I'm probably going to say that it's going to be a room that they find. They're going to find an entrance somehow, and it's going to be something that they can continue to repeat. That's what I'm guessing. I hope that they dive more into the actual like lore of it, where you slip into it, but I'm really curious to see what ends up happening. So currently this movie is scheduled to come out at sometime late May. I think it was like the May 26th is what it was scheduled to come out to. But I'm really excited to go ahead and see it. I mean, this ties in a lot of big hitters, like I said earlier, A24 and Kane Pixels. And the Backrooms concept is something that a lot of people enjoy. I mean, anybody who's on the horror side of social media or on the internet, you can say the Backrooms and they'll know exactly what you're talking about. And I'm really excited to go watch it. I hope it turns out great. And I hope that I can come back and look at this video and see if I was right about some of my predictions or my initial thoughts on it. And then maybe we can give a really good review. Regardless, I hope you guys end up going to see it in movie theaters just like I will. But thank you for watching, and have a great day.